Dear chosen ones, you didn't come here by accident, you were sent. And not everyone is going to understand your presence. You've probably felt the weight of being targeted, misunderstood, or even betrayed by people you never expected. You've asked yourself why the arrows came from every direction, why people you helped turned on you, and why the pressure never seemed to let up. But here's the truth. You weren't attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because you carry something powerful, truth. And truth doesn't need to fight for itself. It just exists. But the people who live in lies, they're the ones always afraid of being found out. And your truth, it's louder than any mask they've ever worn. For a long time, people around you have been whispering behind closed doors, spinning stories, pointing fingers, hoping to make you the villain. But what they didn't expect is that the truth doesn't stay hidden forever. Slowly, their secrets are starting to surface. The lies they used to build their image are cracking. And now, even people from their own circle are starting to speak up, whether from guilt, pressure, or just plain exhaustion. One thing's for sure, the silence is breaking, and the truth is coming out hotter than fire. And when it does, it's not just spiritual warfare anymore, it's spiritual court. And baby, the judge is watching. So many times, you've asked why you were always the one people tried to tear down. You thought maybe you were too sensitive, too real, too different. But the truth is, you scared them, not because you were dangerous, but because you couldn't be fooled. You walked into rooms and something shifted. Not because you said anything, but because your presence made the fake fall apart. You didn't have to expose anyone. Your light did that just by being there. You didn't gossip or try to prove a point. You just stayed true to yourself. And that, more than anything, made people uncomfortable. See, a lot of people say they want healing and truth, but when someone shows up who actually lives that truth, they panic. Why? Because your honesty reminds them of everything they've been pretending to be. People build their whole identity on survival lies, lies that tell them they're healed, they're kind, they've moved on. And when someone like you walks in calm, grounded, and not performing for approval, it shows them just how far from healed they really are. They call you too much or accuse you of having an attitude when really you're just clear. You're not faking it, and that's terrifying to people who are. They don't want to admit it, but they feel small next to someone who's real. You don't need a spotlight, you are the light. And light doesn't shout, it just shines. But when it does, it exposes whatever's hiding in the dark. And some folks can't stand being seen like that. That's why they lie on you. That's why they try to control the narrative. Because if people actually believed your truth, their whole fake image would fall apart. They don't hate you. They hate what they see in themselves when they're around you. Your honesty makes them uncomfortable. Your self-awareness challenges their denial. Your peace exposes their chaos. And the real kicker? You've never even tried to take anyone down. You weren't out here seeking revenge or looking to out people. You were just minding your business, growing, healing, being kind. And still, they couldn't handle it. They gossiped, they twisted your words, they made you the villain in stories you weren't even present for. But the truth has a funny way of surviving, and now it's coming back around. God didn't let them win. He just let them dig. Every lie they told, every fake tear, every attempt to make you look like the bad guy, it was all recorded. And now, what they meant to use against you is becoming the very thing that exposes them. People are starting to ask questions. They're starting to see that something doesn't add up. The same ones they manipulated are now starting to see the truth for themselves. That's what happens when God lets pride and ego do the job of justice. You didn't have to fight dirty. You didn't have to clap back. You just had to stay still, keep growing, and trust that the truth would make its way through the noise. Now, the masks are coming off, and what's left underneath isn't pretty. And the loudest ones in the room? They're starting to fall silent, because the story they built can't hold up when the light gets turned on. And here's what really bothers them. You didn't earn favor the way they thought you should. You didn't chase fame or beg for platforms or play politics. You didn't try to fit their mold. You just showed up raw, real, imperfect, and God still chose you. And that burns them, because they thought they could control who gets blessed. They thought favor was about titles and connections. But you're living proof that God qualifies who He calls, no matter what the world says. You didn't need fancy words. You didn't need to be the loudest. You didn't need to be perfect. You just had to be honest. And somehow, that was enough. You carried a light they couldn't buy or fake. And now they have to watch you rise, not with arrogance, but with purpose. Not with ego, but with grace. And nothing they say can stop it. What's even crazier is how they tried to feed off you. They wanted your peace, your clarity, your grace, but they couldn't digest it. Your energy, your essence, it was too pure for their dysfunction. Every time they tried to copy you, they failed. Every time they tried to wear your skin, they ended up choking on the very thing they thought would help them. Why? Because your peace isn't performative. It's rooted, and shallow souls can't handle depth. They wanted your light without doing the healing. They wanted your joy without facing their pain. But they can't fake what you've earned through real growth. They tried to become you, but they didn't realize your light came from surviving what would have destroyed them. So instead of growing, they tried to take. But your energy isn't for them. It's not theirs to use. And every time they tried to drain you, they found themselves emptier. They thought your peace would feed them. Instead, it revealed how spiritually starved they really are. That's why they lash out. That's why they gossip. That's why they twist your words. Because your wholeness reminds them of their brokenness. And they'd rather call you the problem than face themselves. But here's what you need to know. You weren't sent here to blend in. You weren't born to stay quiet. You were sent to disrupt what everyone else called normal. You were made to challenge the systems built on lies, manipulation, and performance. While everyone else was clapping for the stage show, you were sent to pull back the curtain. And now that you've seen what's behind it, you can't unsee it. That's why you were attacked. That's why you faced so much resistance. Because you were sent to interrupt the program. You weren't made to stay in the background. You were sent to expose the things that look polished on the outside, but are full of poison on the inside. You were chosen to speak up, even when your voice shakes. And now that you're awake to your assignment, they can't put you back to sleep. You've walked through fire. You've survived storms they couldn't even stand in. And still, you kept your heart pure. Still, you told the truth. Still, you chose love over bitterness. And that's exactly why you're rising. Not because of what you did perfectly, but because of what you refuse to fake. The world may not always understand you, but heaven does. And the same people who tried to break you are about to watch God build you higher than they ever imagined. You're not here by accident. You're here on assignment. And the very truth they tried to bury is rising through you. There are times when it feels like the whole world is against you. People lie about you, plot behind your back, and try to destroy your reputation. You stay quiet, not because you're weak, but because deep inside, you know something greater is at work. That silence, that patience, wasn't failure. It was strategy. It was divine timing. While others were trying to bring you down, God was quietly watching, recording, and keeping track of every attack, every betrayal, and every false word spoken about you. They thought they were getting away with it. But what they didn't know was that God was preparing something behind the scenes, a full case, built with truth as the foundation and your integrity as the evidence. You didn't need to fight back. You didn't have to raise your voice, because your clean record, your refusal to stoop to their level, became your legal weapon in the spiritual realm. Each lie they told didn't hurt you. It only added more weight to the truth that would one day rise to the surface. They didn't realize that by trying to harm you, they were setting themselves up for their own downfall. What they saw as your weakness was actually your strength. Your silence wasn't passive. It was power under control. While they plotted, God prepared. And now the truth is coming to light. When it does, it won't just clear your name, it will reveal theirs. What's even more powerful is that those attacks didn't just happen by accident. They were part of something bigger. The people who tried to take you down were spiritually aware. They sensed your purpose, your potential, your divine calling. You weren't just another person living life. You were marked for something great. And they felt threatened. So they tried to steal what God gave you. They tried to destroy your confidence, your identity, your future. But in doing that, they activated something they didn't expect, your authority. Instead of breaking you, they awakened you. The more they tried to stop you, the more you rose. The more they lied, the stronger you became. The truth is, their attacks didn't silence you, they set you on fire. What they meant to use against you became fuel for your purpose. They couldn't destroy you because what's inside you isn't man-made. It's divine. Every trap they set became a stepping stone. Every time they counted you out, they pushed you one step closer to your destiny. People thought God had forgotten about you. They saw what you were going through and thought you were just another victim. But what they didn't know is that God was never absent. He was watching, waiting, letting the noise get loud enough so that when the truth finally broke through, no one could ignore it. Sometimes, God doesn't move quickly because He wants everyone to see. He wants the exposure to be undeniable. If He had acted too soon, people would have missed it. But now, the stage is set, and when the truth comes, it won't just be justice, it will be a public revelation. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared for a moment that would silence every lie and open every blind eye. God wasn't being slow. He was letting the enemy talk just long enough to trap themselves in their own story. And when the truth finally breaks out, it will be louder than all the lies combined. Your vindication will be a scene no one can ignore. You've probably noticed how some people seem to hate you for no reason. They act cold, bitter, even cruel, and you wonder what you did wrong. But it's not really about you. Your presence, your light, your calling, it triggers something in them. It stirs up old wounds, hidden pain, and even spiritual issues passed down through their bloodline. It's not personal, it's spiritual. You represent everything they've been running from: truth, healing, and freedom. You didn't have to say a word. Just being there made something inside them uncomfortable. The truth is, you were sent to break cycles. And that makes you dangerous to every spirit, every generational curse, every tradition built on fear or control. Many of these people don't even fully understand why they dislike you so deeply. It's something in their spirit that reacts to yours. You shine a light on things they've kept hidden for years. You're the breach in the wall, the one who lets the truth in. That's why the fight has felt so personal. Because it is. But you weren't chosen to be quiet. You were chosen to bring freedom. Just your presence is doing the work, whether you see it or not. From the start, you knew you were different. You never quite fit in, and that's because you weren't meant to. You weren't sent here to blend in. You were sent here to stand out. To be the proof that God still moves, still speaks, and still calls people out of the crowd for a purpose. That's why the attack came early. The enemy saw your potential before you even understood it. He tried to stop you while you were still figuring yourself out. Because once you fully stepped into who you are, he knew he wouldn't stand a chance. The betrayal, the rejection, the misunderstanding, it was all designed to make you doubt yourself. But you didn't give up. And now that you know who you are, there's no going back. You're not here to fit a mold. You're here to break it. You are the contradiction to the systems that tried to define you. You are the walking evidence that purpose doesn't need permission. And now, God is doing something even more incredible. He's not just dealing with those who try to hurt you. He's making them watch. They don't just lose what they tried to take from you. They have to sit back and witness your rise. That's part of their judgment. They didn't just hurt you, they tried to erase you. They lied on you, mocked you, laughed at your pain, and thought they were untouchable. But God flipped it. Now, the same people who tried to bury you have to watch you bloom. And watching hurts more than anything. Every blessing that comes your way, every door that opens, every moment of peace and joy, they see it, and they can't stop it. That's divine justice. Not just punishment, but a full circle moment that shows them and everyone else that you weren't just favored, you were chosen. Some people hoped you'd never show up. They feared someone like you would come along and break the cycle they were comfortable in. That person turned out to be you. You didn't come with noise or pride. You came with truth. And truth is powerful. You didn't follow their rules. You didn't play their game. And that alone made you dangerous. You're not reacting to the past. You're correcting it. You're not here to repeat what came before you. You're here to rewrite it. That's why it's been so hard, because your life is pushing against spiritual agreements made long before you were born. But you were chosen for this. Your life is proof that the old patterns can be broken, that freedom is possible, that change can start with one person. And now, chosen one, it's time to rise. You didn't survive by accident. You are the fulfillment of a divine plan. You are the proof that what tried to break you only built you. You don't have to apologize for the power you carry. You don't have to shrink to make others comfortable. The same people who mocked you will one day quote you. The ones who tried to bury you, you will end up pointing to you as proof that God still chooses the unlikely to do the undeniable. So walk tall. Shine brighter. Speak louder. You were never sent to be hidden. You were sent to wake the world up. Let them talk. Let them watch. Let them wrestle with the fact that what they tried to kill is now alive and thriving. The fight was loud, but your rise will be louder. You are the evidence. You are the proof. And now the time has come. What God started in you is unstoppable. And nothing can change that.